Welcome to final BSc Statistics students. Today's class, in this class, we discuss one important theorem. Variance of y bar st, variance of the stratified random sample mean, variance of y bar st is minimum for fixed sample size n if ni is proportional to nisi. If ni is proportional to nisi. In the optimum allocation, we have learned three principles. Optimum allocation runs on three particular principles, in which this is one of the principle. The one of the principle of the optimum allocation is nothing but variance of the sample mean is minimum, variance of y bar st is minimum, minimizing the variance for fixed sample size n. This is converted in a particular theorem now. The variance of y bar st is minimum for fixed sample size n. If ni is proportional to nisi, that is now we are providing, the rule is providing with some particular formula and some particular the kind of consideration statistically. That is, if ni is proportional to nisi, then this is going to be, this rule is going to be applied correctly. The rule is going to be applied correctly. If you want to apply the rule, if you do this, then it is enough. That is the meaning of this. If you want to apply this rule, to achieve this, if you do ni is proportional to nisi, if you consider the sample size ni in the ith stratum as ni is proportional to nisi, it is proportional to capital NISI. If you consider a sample size Ni which is proportional to capital NISI, that's enough to provide this rule. The variance of y bar, then variance of y bar st will be minimum for fixed sample size n. So that is the meaning. Hope you are able to follow this, right? So now we start the proof of this particular theorem. So what is variance of y bar st? We consider first. What is variance of y bar st? We consider at first. Variance of y bar st. It is going to be considered as, what is the formula in stratified random sampling? It is 1 by n square. The first formula I am writing, summation I is equal to 1 to k ni into ni minus ni into si square by ni. This is the first formula of variance of y bar st. This is to be considered, this is to be minimized, that is this function. Let you consider this a function 1 by n square summation I is equal to 1 to k ni into ni minus ni into s square by ni. If it is a function, then it is to be minimized subject to the condition that are for the variations in the sample size n. For fixed sample size n, in the sense that by fixing the sample size n, that is, it is a condition. It is one kind of condition we have to consider. So therefore, I am considering that subject to the condition that summation I is equal to 1 to k ni is equal to n. What is small n? Summation I is equal to 1 to k ni. That is what I have considered as a subject to the condition. Subject to the condition that if you apply like this for ith stratum, for all the strata, then only we can fix the sample size n. The sample size n will be fixed based on the sample size ni drawn from the ith stratum. So that is the meaning. Hope you can even follow this, right? So therefore this is subject to the condition. for which to minimize this particular function subject to the condition of this summation ni is equal to n small n, I am considering Lagrange's function. What I am considering? Lagrange's function. Lagrange's function. In this fashion, phi is equivalent to v. I have considered Lagrange's function to minimize variance of y bar s t subject to the condition or for the variations in the parameter, variations in the n, the sample size n, for which I have considered this. So phi is equivalent to v, variance of y bar s t, which means 1 by n square summation I is equal to 1 to k ni into ni minus small ni into si square by ni. And plus also I am considering lambda is a Lagrange's multiplier multiplied by this, what I am considering summation I is equal to 1 to k ni minus n, which will be 0. If I take the left hand side, it will be 0. So therefore I am considering this particular value as summation ni minus n multiplied by lambda. What is this value? 0. So now I can consider any kind of value which is going to be inculcated, that is, which is going to be considered, and so that the subject to the condition is also to be present in this particular function phi. That is what Lagrange's function is going to be considered. It is considered in this fashion, where lambda is Lagrange's multiplier. Lagrange's multiplier. It is called Lagrange's multiplier. It is considered in such a fashion that it depends on the subject to the condition. Depends on subject to the condition. Right? What is subject to the condition? Summation I is equal to 1 to k ni minus ni is equal to n. That is minus n we have considered to make it 0, to nullify it. Hope you understand, right? Then now I have considered this. Now what I do is to get the minimize this particular function. If you want to minimize this particular function, what I do? What we have to do? Generally we have to do the partial differentiation. So with respect to ni, remember that fixing the sample size n depends on ni. We have to find the value of ni so that it is going to be considered, it is going to be done. It can be done with the help of by calculating the value of ni for the variations in the parameter, variations in the value of n. So therefore, this is going to be minimized, the function is going to be minimized. If you want to minimize this, then with simple partial differentiation with respect to ni. Now I am doing differentiating with respect to ni and equating to 0, and so that I have to consider, if you want to minimize the function, the second differentiation I have to show it is greater than 0. As you know, this is usual procedure we go and apply, right? So therefore, now I consider the differentiation of this particular function. Okay. Before that, I change this particular function in a particular form. Okay. So that's what I have explained. Whenever you have a small ni, here also one particular small ni, here also another small ni. So this is a two functions. If you want to derive this, this is uv derivation of uv. Okay, so I am converting in terms of one function only, first of all, and then I differentiate. I take the part of differentiation. Ni multiplied by n. I divide this with this ni. So inside. So therefore, it is ni divided by small ni minus 1. Ni by ni. This form also we have learned in the previous classes. Into si square plus lambda multiplied by summation I is equal to 1 to k ni minus n. Have you understand this? I have considered this again and I have converted in a particular form. Only change is I have divided with this small ni, capital Ni by small ni minus small ni by small ni cancel. It will get 1 into si square as is remaining as this. Now I differentiate with respect to ni and equate to 0 to minimize the function. What I consider, I have differentiated with respect to ni and equate to 0. That's all. You come over here. You see the differentiation is for ith value. Okay. I will tell you this particular factor so that you can understand very easily. So this is nothing but, you see, differentiation is n1 plus n2 plus and so on plus ni plus and so on plus nk. If you want to differentiate dou by dou ni or d by dni, if you want to differentiate it, differentiation of n1 is 0. Differentiation of ni with respect to ni, n2 is 0, is a constant. Ni differentiation is 1. Do you understand? Similarly, this one, I also write that one as well. I also write this one. For example, for timing, I write some particular terms. 1 by n square. So this one, if you consider, take a common factor, then this is n1 into n1 by n1 minus 1 into s1 square plus n2 and so on plus ni. I am writing ni multiplied by small n, capital Ni divided by small ni minus 1 multiplied by si square and so on, nk, kth term. If you substitute kth term, these are the terms here in this factor. You have these all the terms. Now differentiation is with respect to ni, dou by dou ni of this. We have to do it, right? So for which if you differentiate with respect to ni, here no ni. The term lo ni unda? No. It's not there. So therefore differentiation is 0. In the similarly for second one, n2 into n2 by n2 minus 1 into s2 square. There is no particular ni there. So differentiation is 0, constant. And so on and so on. Only the term is I. You leave this particular. And so on. K. Nk into nk by small nk minus 1 into sk square. Is there any ni value? No. So therefore differentiation becomes 0. Is 0. So only the part of differentiation is this. So now I am doing the differentiation here. This particular differentiation is 1 by capital N square. Do you understand this? Only we are differentiating the ith term because of ni. We are differentiating with respect to ni. Therefore, I am differentiating with respect to ni. So remaining all the terms are constant. n1, I is equal to 1 if you substitute n1, the constant differentiation becomes 0. Differentiation with respect to n, that is for the terms consists of n2, small n2. I am talking about small n2. Only n values, small n values. n2 differentiation becomes 0. n3 differentiation becomes 0. It is 0 and so on. Leave ith one and so on. Remaining all nk differentiation is 0. Only the term to be differentiated which will have the value is ni. So that is this. Now you differentiate it. Ni is a constant in multiplied by ni is also a constant divided by 1 by x differentiation minus 1 by x square, that is minus 1 by ni square. Okay, minus 1 by ni square and minus 1 constant 0 multiplied by si square. So this is the differentiation part. Have you understand this? This is the part of differentiation. I repeat again, whatever the terms, if you substitute I is equal to 1, differentiation becomes 0, n1, small n1, and small n2 here, differentiation 0, and small ni, this is the differentiation. And so on, small nk, differentiation is 0. Okay? If you understand this, it's enough. Remaining all the terms you can understand very easily. So, right? Now I explain this as well. Plus lambda multiplied by n1 differentiation 0, n1 plus n2, this is the term n1 plus n2 plus ni plus and so on plus nk. General one, ith differentiation with respect to the ni, ith term. Ni differentiation is 1. So it is 1. N differentiation is 0. Is equivalent to 0. I write here lambda into 1 is equivalent to 0. right? So this is the part of the, if you understand differentiation, the part of theorem will be proved. We can easily prove remaining entire part. Clear? Now you have to calculate. So what we have to calculate from this is ni, small ni. Remember small ni. So this is the minus term. This is ni into ni square, si square divided by capital N square into small ni square. All are square terms. Okay, with minus sign. So I am taking lambda to the right hand side. Lambda to the right hand side. If I take lambda right hand side, this becomes or you keep lambda here and you take this particular term right hand side so that it becomes plus. So you have to calculate ni square. I am taking ni square to the right hand side or left hand side, you will get it. So ni square is equivalent to be ni square si square divided by capital N square into lambda. I have taken lambda here and ni square here. So that ni square is equal to ni square sa square by n square into lambda. So it is required to calculate ni. So therefore I calculate ni. So which implies ni is equivalent to be ni si square root divided by n into root lambda. Only the lambda term will have a root, square root. Okay, let you consider the equation 1. Why? Lambda value is going to find out. If you don't know the lambda, Lagrange's multiplier, if you have to substitute, you have to substitute the value of lambda. So then only this part will be proved. Okay. I have to consider second part of the proof. That is, I have to consider dou square phi by dou square dou ni square. Second differentiation. Okay, this is what the first differentiation. I do the second differentiation here so that just I prove it. So dou square phi by dou ni square, that differentiation. This is the first differentiation. So ni square, capital Ni square divided by capital N square, okay, into si square minus 1 by x square, 1 by x square minus 2 by x cube. So therefore minus of minus plus 2 by ni cube. This differentiation 0, lambda differentiation is 0. So this is the value of the dou square phi by dou ni square. No need to calculate further. N is greater than, n is always a constant greater than 0. Si square term, n square, n is a constant, always greater than 0. Ni always a constant greater than 0, the value. So therefore this entire term greater than 0. So I have proved that dou square phi by dou ni square is always greater than 0. So therefore whatever the value of ni we get, it provides the minimum value. It provides the minimum value. So second differentiation I have proved it. Now I consider to calculate the value of lambda. Now we have to calculate the value of lambda, and so that we have to prove the theorem and substitute here. So take the term, consider the term of ni, for which how can you calculate this? We have only one option, that is take the summation with respect to I is equal to 1 to k on both sides of this particular equation 1. That is, I am taking summation I is equal to 1 to k, small ni is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to k, capital Ni Si divided by n into root lambda. I should write clearly. Summation I is equal to 1 to k, Ni into Si divided by root n lambda, n into root lambda. So which means what is this summation Ni? It is small n, as a definition of stratified random sampling is considered. So it's equivalent to be, now you see n and root lambda constants does not depend on summation I. So I am taking outside, which means the summation is only for this. So I am writing the value in the numerator, summation Ni Si divided by n into root lambda. I am writing in this fashion. So only the summation is for Ni Si. Now you see the left hand side we have n, and you have to calculate root lambda. Actually you have to calculate lambda. So instead of that I calculate root lambda only directly. So I am taking root lambda left hand side, so that root lambda is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to k ni into si divided by capital N into small n. Do you understand this? Now we have calculated the value of root lambda. Root lambda was obtained, is obtained. It was obtained. Now we have to substitute in equation 1 again. You understand this? I have considered, for equation 1, I have considered summations on both sides. Summation. With respect to I is equal to 1 to k. So summation I is equal to 1 to k, ni is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to k, ni si by root n into root lambda. These are the constant I have taken outside, and then I have taken root lambda left hand side. So that root lambda is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to k ni si by n into capital N into small n. I will substitute this value here. That is, if I substitute the value here in the equation 1, if we substitute the value there, ni is equal to ni si divided by n into what is root lambda? Summation I is equal to 1 to k ni si divided by capital N into small n. Now we can cancel out n, and therefore this value is nothing but is equivalent to b. Now you see this one, I am taking this particular n in the numerator. So n multiplied by ni si divided by summation I is equal to 1 to k ni si. This is what ni. Now you observe this. This is summation ni si. This is constant. Whenever you take a summation of xi, it is a one value. You will get one value. If x1 is 5, x2 is 10, x3 is 12, etc. If you have the values, even though xi is a variable, summation xi is a constant. So therefore this is constant. N is constant. Only variable is ni si. So therefore these are constants. So therefore ni is always proportional to this value only. Is always proportional to this value ni si. So which means, which implies ni is always proportional to ni si, since remaining are all constants. So this is the theorem it is required. So ni is proportional to capital Ni Si. So whatever the sample size is going to be drawn, it is proportional to the Ni and Si. If you take large, you will get the more precise estimates for the sample mean. So it depends on Ni. That is the reason why it depends on Ni. We have discussed at the earlier, very first classes, we have discussed the sample size. Allocation of the sample size depends on these factors. So therefore Ni is proportional to Ni Si. If you take N large, Si also a large value, then we get the more precise estimates the sample mean. So therefore in the proportion allocation, variance of y bar st is minimum for fixed sample size n. It is provided if Ni is proportional to small ni is proportional to Ni Si. Small ni is proportional to capital Ni Si. This is what that's a theorem of the optimum allocation, not proportional. Optimum allocation. One theorem of optimum allocation is one particular rule. Minimizing the variance for fixed sample size n is going to be achieved through this particular formula, or we can say this kind of rule. That rule is going to be achieved from this condition. Ni is proportional to, small ni is proportional to Ni Si. Thank you.